So we ain't really never had no old money. We got a whole lot of new money now. My bitch bad and bullshit bad.
Yo, I had an interesting conversation about this in a space the other day. Eli was in it. We was talking about should the Celtics give Jaylen Brown the max? And it was a very interesting conversation because I've always had the trolley take of, yeah, just give him the max like he fucking earned it type shit. But I do think there is more nuance in this conversation. Just because, for one, if we have two motherfuckers on SUPERMAX deals, and apparently with the new CBA, like, Jaylen Brown is going to be able to make more money because of the CBA, the new CBA rules. Having two SUPERMAX players on your team is, it's going to lock you financially. And in turn, because the thing that makes the Celtics great, right, is the depth that they have, is the amazing roster that they have around Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. It's not a two-headed monster. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're clearly the two best players on the team, but this team, as we saw even within the season, it can't just be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum doing carry squads every day. Again, I've said this as well. Like, the meta with the game right now is not that anyways. You need depth. You know what I'm saying? So what people are saying is that if you sign Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to SUPERMAX, it's just going to cripple your ability to build out a fleshed out roster. So that then begs the question. I think Jason Tatum, he's your best player. He's, you know, potential top 5 player in the league. You give him the SUPERMAX. Period, point blank. But then when you look at Jaylen Brown, we ran through the numbers. We ran through the names. Jaylen Brown arguably is still not a top 20 player. At most, he's like the 15th best player, and that's at the very most. So do you give Jaylen Brown, even though he's earned it and he's met the criteria for the SUPERMAX, do you give him that deal? Right? On the surface level, it's okay, he's earned it, give him that deal. But from a team building perspective, do you do it regardless of if he meets the criteria or not? And what people are saying is that, okay, yes, Jaylen Brown has met the criteria, but is he truly worth a SUPERMAX? You know what I'm saying? Like, SUPERMAXes should be reserved for, and not saying that Jaylen Brown is not one of the best of the best. He clearly is. But SUPERMAXes should be reserved for All-NBA. And this is what people are saying again. All-NBA first team caliber players. At most, like second team caliber players. I think at best, Jaylen Brown is an All-NBA second team member. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it from that perspective, it does become a more nuanced conversation. But then I would counteract that with, number one, I think is the Warriors might be the, you know, there might be an outlier, but I think generally speaking, you need two All-NBA caliber players on your team to be a championship contender. I ain't gonna lie. I think it's a necessity to have at least two All-NBA caliber players on your team. I think the meta right now is two All-NBA caliber players on your team, and you build around them. So with that being said, if they don't give Jaylen Brown the money, who is going to be that second All-NBA caliber player that they have to make them a championship caliber team? Because I do think Jason Tatum right now is in his prime. There's a championship window right there. Do you just close that for the sake of, again, those things that I mentioned in terms of depth and Jaylen Brown not being worth a SUPERMAX X, Y, and Z? Or do you just give in and guarantee the All-NBA caliber player on your team for the next X amount of years? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, in the space, we also talked about, yo, if Dame is available, get Dame. So that's my thing. Like, okay, let's get Dame. If we can trade Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard, I would personally do that too. No joke, all jokes aside, I personally would do that too. But it then becomes a situation of, okay, if we can't get Dame, do we let Jaylen Brown go? Because it feels like at this point, it's either we get Dame or not pay Jaylen Brown a supermax. But you know, just from my belief, I still think you need 2 All-NBA caliber player teams. 2 All-NBA team caliber players on your team. And if it's not going to be Dame and it's not going to be Jaylen Brown, where are we going to get that second All-NBA player? Keep it a bean. From free agency, keep it a bean. You know what I'm saying? By trading for someone, again, keep it a bean. I mean, we might be able to trade for someone, but it would just be harder compared to just, again, giving Jaylen Brown the Supermax and guaranteeing that. But I don't know, though. It's interesting. It's interesting because I do think Jaylen Brown deserves it just off of the criteria. Like, there's a certain criteria for the shit. He fucking met it. Period, point blank. He deserves it off of that point. But at the same token, if you're a team, I don't think the Celtics should be side-eyed if they don't give Jaylen Brown a supermax. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, because they've already gotten the moniker of not treating their players right. You know, the fans already have. There's already a certain perception about the fans, and if they don't give Jaylen Brown a supermax, the narrative is what the narrative is gonna be. But I just don't think it's, you know, again, I just don't think this is a case where they're not paying their players when they've earned it. Like, they got to do what's best for the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they traded Isaiah Thomas, I think that was doing something that was best for the team. And objectively speaking, in my opinion, it was still the same. It was still the right move to trade Isaiah Thomas. Was it brutal? Yes. Bro balled out for y'all. He got injured, and now y'all trade him. The optics are bad. But in actuality, in reality, they had an injured superstar whose, you know, main thing that he brings to the court is the explosiveness. You know, is his scoring ability. It's not that he's a great passer. Definitely not because he's a great defender. It's his scoring ability. He had a career-altering injury that affects his scoring ability. And you have the option to get a better player in Kyrie Irving. I think you take that risk. I don't think the Celtics should have gotten a side eye. I don't think that should have been a fault to the Celtics for making that move. But then here we are retrospectively. They fucked over Isaiah Thomas, dog. They fucked over Isaiah Thomas. I don't want it to be a situation where if they don't pay Jaylen Brown, it's gonna be the same narrative. They fucked over Jaylen Brown, bro.